And now we continue with Roald Dahl's James and the Giant Peach, starting with chapter 14. In the last chapter, you may remember, James had crawled inside the peach and gone inside the peach stone in the middle. And there inside, there was the grasshopper, the worm, the ladybird, the spider, and the glowworm.
And also centipede.
And the centipede. I forgot about that one, yes. And he'd put the boots on the centipede, and now it was time for lights out, so the spider had spun a hammock for everybody to sleep in, including James, and everyone was getting in their hammock, and the glowworm had put the light out finally. So they've all gone to sleep. Chapter 14. "We're off!" someone was shouting. "We're off at last!" James woke up with a jump and looked about him. The creatures were all out of their hammocks and moving excitedly about the room. Suddenly, the floor gave a great heave.
What's heave?
When something moves with great effort, like, ugh! It heaved, it moved, the floor moved with great effort, like in an earthquake. Suddenly, the floor gave a great heave, as though an earthquake were taking place. "Here we go!" shouted the old green grasshopper, hopping up and down with excitement. "Hold on tight!" "What's happening?" cried James, leaping out of his hammock. "What's going on?" The ladybird, who was obviously a kind and gentle creature, came over and stood beside him. "In case you don't know it," she said, "we are about to depart forever from the top of this ghastly hill that we've all been living on for so long. We are about to roll away inside this great, big, beautiful peach to a land of what?" asked James. Never you mind," said the ladybird. "But nothing could be worse than this desolate hilltop and those two repulsive aunts of yours." "Hear, hear," they all shouted. "Hear, hear." "You may not have noticed it," the ladybird went on, "but the whole garden, even before it reaches the steep edge of the hill, happens to be on a steep slope. And therefore, the only thing that has been stopping this peach from rolling away right from the beginning is the thick stem attaching it to the tree. Break the stem and off we go." "Watch it!" cried Miss Spider as the room gave another violent lurch. "Here we go!" "Not quite, not quite." "At this moment," continued the ladybird, "our centipede, who has a pair of jaws as sharp as razors, is up there, on top of the peach, nibbling away at that stem. In fact, he must be nearly through it, as you can tell from the way we're lurching about. Would you like me to take you under my wing so that you won't fall over when we start rolling?"
Who said that?
"The ladybird." "Oh, that's very kind of you," said James, "but I think I'll be all right." Just then, the centipede stuck his grinning face through a hole in the ceiling and shouted, "I've done it! We're off!" "We're off!" the others cried. "We're off!" "The journey begins!" shouted the centipede. "Earthworm, if you have anything to do with it, it can only mean trouble." "Nonsense," said the ladybird. "We are now about to visit the most marvellous places and see the most wondrous things. Isn't that so, centipede?" "There is no knowing what we shall see," cried the centipede. And now we have a poem from the centipede. We may see a creature with 49 heads who lives in the desolate snow, and whenever he catches a cold which he dreads, he has 49 noses to blow. We may see the venomous pink spotted scrunch, who can chew them up with one bite. If it likes to eat 5 of them when roasted for lunch and 18 for its supper at night. We may see a dragon nobly knows. We may see a unicorn there. We may see a terrible monster with toes growing out of the tufts of his hair. We may see the sweet little biddy bright hen, so playful, so kind, and so well bred, and such beautiful eggs. You just boil them and then they explode and blow off your head. A gem and a gimmick, surely you'll see, and that's just all that generous and gonorrhal gnat. A gnu and a gonorrhosis, surely you'll see, and that enormous and gonorrhal gnat whose stings you goes and let in the knee and comes out through the top of your head. We may even get lost and be frozen by frost. We may die in an earthquake or tremor, or nastier still, we may even be tossed on the shores of a furious dilemma. But who casts? Let us go for this horrible hill. Let us roll. Let us bowl. Let us plunge. We go ruling the humbling and spinning until we are one away from old Spiker and Sponge. That was their song. 1 second later, slowly, disinsidiously, oh most gently, the giant peach started to lean forward and steal into motion. The whole room began to tilt over, and the fragments of furniture went sliding across the room, crushed into the piles on the other side of the room. So James and the ladybird, and the old green grasshopper, and Miss Spider, and the earthworm, and the centipede, who would just come slithering down the wall. And now we read the rest tomorrow. Do you want a bit more on the audiobook?
On the book.
Listen to this then. I'm going to sleep now. I'm too tired. Don't ask for more, Aiden. I'm too tired. I have to sleep like you. I'm desperate to sleep. Any second now I'm going to pass out. So Yes. Mummy will tell.
Roll up, Aunt Spiker yelled. Only 1 shilling to see the giant peach.
Dr. Chen is funny. She, she was working in this field.